Hi. So I guess they already started. You're back on production, or you always been stuck in Europe this entire time?
Oh my gosh, no, we are back in production. Our producer, actually, Mark, ended up getting stuck in Europe for a bit because we were supposed to start filming and then COVID happened and he was here and he's like, well, what do I do now?
Wow. So you just traveled from what, Los Angeles all the way to Bulgaria. What did you do? Use a portal? How did that work for you?
Yeah, I activated one of my very handy portals and I got here in about, how long did it take me, Noah? About 15 minutes?
Seconds, wasn't
15 seconds, exactly. Excuse the background. So we are currently on a road trip heading to the Black Sea, me, Ollie, Ben, and Noah. And then Oliver last minute said he wanted to take the scenic route, which we did not realize was going to add like 9 extra hours onto the road trip. So we were supposed to be at the hotel a long time ago. So please bear with me through these conditions.
Oh yeah, it's not a problem. So congratulations on a successful first season. Did
Thank you.
were you surprised for a second season? Why do you think people love this show so much?
I think people like to use, or at least I like to use TV as a way to just escape my normal life, and it takes you into a fantasy world, and I feel like what's more fantasy than sci-fi, science fiction? But yeah, I was really happy with how the show was received, and I'm really grateful to be back here shooting our second season. We're actually about 9 days out from wrapping up season two, and it flew by this time.
So, how were you brought board initially? Because Pandora was something that, unlike all of your other projects, it's completely different.
Sorry, what was that? I'm
I
sorry.
said, how were you brought on board onto a project like Pandora? Because it was completely different from anything you have done before.
It was just through a casting director. So Erica Bream was in charge of U.S. casting. So she ended up just casting. Sorry, the boys are messing with me in the background.
Hello.
He's trying. They're trying to distract
The
me.
band is back.
The band is back. Okay, boys. Let the big girls work, please. Jesus. Yeah, so I was brought on by Erica Bream, who is the casting director in LA. It was all through tape, which I had never done before. Everything else that I had booked in the past is in-person auditions. So this one was all through tape, and I just kept getting different notes from the casting director on what they wanted to see different and what the showrunner, who I now know is Mr. Mark Altman, wanted to see. And I ended up sending in, I think, about maybe 5 or 6 tapes before I
Wow.
got it. All these boys here only had to send one.
Well, they wanted to find the perfect leading lady for the film. That's it, for the show.
Oh, thank you. I hope they're proud of it.
Were were you much of a sci-fi person before taking on this project, or now you're a sci-fi person?
Honestly, I wasn't at all. I hadn't even watched Star Wars yet at that point when I was going out for it. But Mark gave us our list of homework, and I can safely say that now I'm more comfortable with the genre. But before, I was a rom com girl all the way, or like weird indies, So sci-fi was very different for sure.
What were some of the sci-fi homework that you actually ended up doing that now you're familiar with?
We had to watch a lot of, let's see, what was on the list? Lots of Star Trek, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, Blade Runner, yes. Alias, which isn't sci-fi, but that was on the homework too. Mark gave us a very, very, very long list of things to read and watch, and I'm actually still working on it. So it's lasted me into season two.
That's great. Well, your character Jacqueline or Pandora is a very, how can you say, very caring, very tough, and very unpredictable in her own ways. What do you what do you enjoy about playing a character like Jax on this show?
I always say the thing about Jax is we have a lot of similarities because I try to bring out the things that I enjoy about myself, but she is just so much cooler and braver and smarter and, you know, more spontaneous than me. So I like to bring that out about her. I think it's really fun to bring her to life to the best of my ability. And those are probably my favorite things about her. But I laughed when you said she's, what did you say, spontaneous or
Yeah.
she's just, yeah, she definitely doesn't always think before speaking or doing. Yeah, just like me. No,
So
I said
you are
just
very
like me.
similar to your character.
I'm very similar to my character. Yeah, I really am. She's cooler than me, but I think we definitely share some things.
Well, everyone's cooler than you, Priscilla.
Screw off, Oliver.
Talk about the stunts on this, because from what I hear, you love doing your own stunts.
I do. Oh my gosh, doing my own stunts are my favorite. We don't have a whole lot of time on set, so I've really learned how to pick up the coordination quickly. Ben is a dancer, so picking up the coordination comes, you know, like second nature for him. For me, it wasn't that easy at first, but now I can pick up a pretty hefty stunt sequence, and I'm really proud of how quickly I can master it now. Because before, oh my God, poor Ben, I was just swinging and he had to duck. You know, now I kind of know what I'm doing a little more. But speaking of stunts, Oliver, come here. Come show what happened to you. Oliver broke
There's one healthy arm
his arm on a scooter.
and another healthy arm.
Oliver broke his arm on his birthday in the middle of production. So to say that when I compare how good I am at stunts to him, I would say I'm an expert. I might as well be a stunt woman at this point. He can't even drive a scooter.
What the hell? What the hell?
Did you have prior like a fight training before taking on a project like this, or you're just winging it?
No, well, we do wing it a lot because of the time frame that we have. I took a couple of stunt classes a few years ago in North Hollywood, just because I was curious about how to do onstage combat, and we learned a bit about swords, but nothing in comparison to what we're doing now at all. But I had a little bit of experience, but I'm just not a coordinated person, so took me a while to get there, but now I'm pretty confident with my abilities. Now for my next audition, they'll be like, can you do stunts? Before I'd be like, yeah. Now I'll be like, hell yeah, I can.
That's right. How about the green screen experience? I know that the show has a little bit of green screen because being a sci-fi show, so that's inevitable. How was that experience to you?
Sci-fi is a whole new experience for me, like I said, but green screen acting is just so funny. There was a scene where me and Oliver, we go to a different planet and we're you know, looking at everything. We see mountaintops and it all gets put in post later. But when we're there, we had one little measly string of Christmas lights to be reacting to in awe. So that's always really funny, you know, when you have to imagine things that aren't there. But I also feel as though it's the purest form of acting, right? Because you're using your imagination wholly and completely.
Was there anything that it was difficult to imagine? Probably like those 8-foot tall aliens that were trying to chase after you this entire time.
Yeah. That definitely was a little bit strange at first, especially because, you know, before we shot that, they didn't really show us what they looked like. They didn't even know what they were going to look like in post later. So we're kind of just imagining what we think it could be, what our version of scary is, and then, you know, hoping it reads. But green screen acting is definitely something that I feel like I don't know if you can ever truly master it, because it's just so different every time, right? But here's to hope.
Yeah, I'm certain that's true. So, being in Bulgaria, how is that like? How is the sci-fi sets are like? How's the locations like? I mean, it's totally different, because usually when we hear things being sci-fi being filmed, we hear it like in Los Angeles or Vancouver, but Bulgaria is something else.
It is. There's a lot of really amazing locations here that I think just have never been seen on TV, because not that much films out here. But there's, you know, the caves that we shot in the pilot are incredible. We shoot in this quarry that is just absurd and so amazing. There's so many monuments here as well that just have never been seen on TV. So I think that we're able to just kind of show the world what they would have never otherwise seen, or what they probably won't see again on TV, because it's just so random, right? It's not a LA studio, like you said.
Absolutely. How much of the story does Mark Altman actually share with you guys, or he basically share one script at a time, so this way you guys are left in the dark?
Well, yeah, he is careful not to share too much. He comes from the mindset of like, I don't want to overwhelm you guys, and also sometimes they just don't know what they're going to do with the characters yet, so they don't want us to get too stuck on one idea if they might end up going another way with it, you know. So he answers the questions that we have if they are extremely important to the character and the plot or our development. But other than that, we kind of just figure it out. We'll usually get the script a couple weeks before, and so we have time to work with it. But he does like keeping some secrets from us, for sure. Like, I just read the script for 9, and he definitely did not warn me about anything that was going to happen in that. And now I'm like, what in the world? But he would have if he thought that I wouldn't be able to, you know, tackle it or handle it. So he's good about it for the most part.
What I love about the show is the fact that you're stuck in Bulgaria and you're filming with all your castmates for days and weeks, and you guys are all probably all around the world. Talk about the family orientation that you guys, friendship that you managed to create with everybody, because obviously Oliver's right next to you.
Well, I'm the dad.
You're not the dad.
I'm the kind
He's
of
like
dad,
my annoying little brother that's just always here waiting to take over my interview.
I'm the friendly kind of, you know, people come to me for advice. That kind of stuff.
We definitely all have created amazing relationships. I've heard of a lot of sets where the cast doesn't always get along as well as we do, or even at all sometimes, I think. What are you doing? Oh. And you know, you can see this is our weekend, and we've all decided to take a 9-hour road trip together to go see the Black Sea. So I really do feel lucky that I was blessed with such an amazing cast. They just tackled each other in the background. Did you see that?
No.
Okay. As I say that, Oliver is like tackling Ben on the road. Yeah, we haven't had a day off for a while, so we're all going a little crazy, I think.
Speaking of, Jax have a few romantic relationships during season 1.
Did she?
Yeah, so it's very ironic that Oliver and Ben is there listening in the background. But talk about where the romance of Jax, you know, going with multiple guys, and the introduction of Greg Lee back onto the show again.
Yeah, when John came back, we were like, weren't you supposed to be dead? Like, what are you doing here? Jax had multiple relationships with men and women. She's bisexual, so I thought that was really cool. And I think what I can say without giving any spoilers is the fans will be, I think what's happening this new season is what they wanted to see happen. I think that's all I can say. And then it all gets blown up in smoke. And that's all I can say about that, too.
Obviously.
Obviously, right? What would a drama be without a little bit of heartbreak?
Right? So just between just you and me, who's the best kisser?
Who's the best kisser? Cordelia. Isabella is the best kisser. These boys don't know anything.
Now, obviously, one of the things that they actually introduce is an evil Pandora towards the end of the first season. Yeah. How exciting is it that you're basically playing 2 characters on the same show? Not only you have the good Jax, but you possibly have, you know, a different type of Jax. How is that experience for you?
That is crazy, because it's so fun to be able to switch back and forth. And without giving any spoilers away, I'll say there may or may not be a third character that I play in this new season. So, and if there were to hypothetically be a hypothetical third character that I hypothetically play, it would be hypothetically difficult because we're block shooting about 4 episodes at once. So, you know, one scene might be Jax, one scene might be the other character, and then right back to Jax, you know? So it's really interesting. We call it acting boot camp because of the schedule that we're on. You know, we're block shooting like 4 episodes at once. We have like 3 or 4 days or 4 or 5 days to shoot it sometimes. So it's such a rush. So we have to be so on it because there's not a lot of time for questions. There's not a lot of time for really molding the scenes for the directors because, you know, we're just on such a tight time frame. So we have to really be on it and know where we want to take those characters or where I want to take those characters and what I want to do with them. And I hope that it comes out good.
So how do you keep it all straight for yourself? I mean, you know, playing multiple characters could be confusing.
Yeah, it gets a little confusing. I have like a diary that I don't write in it as much for Jax, but in order to get into my character's mind, I'll write as them about their days in the script and just days that I make up for them. Like for instance, Priscilla, I'm going on this road trip. And if I wanted to understand evil Jax's point of view, I'd write in her diary as her, right? Or if Jax, you know, I want to understand something about Jax, I'd write in Jax's diary as her. So that's how I really keep them separate and also develop like the tiny things that are different about each of them. And on top of that, it's just going over the scripts many, 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 many times until I just know them by heart, you know, because every time I go over it, I notice something new or I'll get a new idea when I read this line. So that's pretty much how I keep track of that.
Wow. Now, I know it's a silly question to ask, but during times like this, obviously, you're, you know, with the pandemic, I was going to ask you, like, how are you staying sane during times like this? But obviously, you're traveling to the Black Sea. You're enjoying yourself with friends.
Yeah. Well, it's different here. I have to say, it's different here in Bulgaria than it is going to be when I head back to the States. People, it's just not as big of a thing here as it is pretty much in the rest of the world. Bulgaria is a very secluded country. Not a lot of people come in and not a lot of people go out. Therefore, the rates here are just so much lower. So people aren't super worried about it. You know, we're wearing masks. You know, the cast and crew, of course, when we leave the house, we're wearing masks. We're washing our hands multiple times. But when we're walking down the streets here, no one else is. No one else wears masks here. Everyone, it's just life as usual. You only have to wear a mask here if you like get in a taxi or go into a pharmacy. And when we walk down the streets, if we're wearing masks, they honestly think that we're crazy and we're sick. So that will be different going back to the States because it's just such a problem over there. Everything is shut down. Sorry. Everything is shut down. Everything is locked down. So I'm a little bit curious and a little bit nervous to go back and deal with that. Another thing is on set, they have the strictest protocols. We're getting PCR tests pretty much 2 or 3 times a week. We have a doctor on set taking everyone's temperature every day. All of the crew and the makeup artists and producers and everyone is wearing masks and shields and stuff. So it's pretty much just the actors because of makeup. We can't really wear masks too often on set.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
In the future, what kind of roles do you want to play? And did you always wanted to be an actor?
It's funny. My mom and my grandma said that they remember me being a kid, getting all my cousins together and putting on plays. Hold on. They're conspiring against me. They're going to throw rocks at me. You just threw a rock at me. I'm so sorry. As a kid, I was always putting on performances and stuff. But as I got older, my mom is extremely business oriented. Has that been there the whole time? Oh my God. Remember when I said he's like my annoying little brother? That's what I meant.
It's a family.
Sorry. I totally lost my train of thought with
You were,
that.
you
I
were
honestly
talking
thought
about
it
your
was a
mom and
spider.
being a businesswoman.
Oh, right. So I come from a very business-oriented family. My mom is the vice president of a company. My stepdad is in real estate. My grandparents were in insurance. So they're very left-brain, that side of my family. So when I decided to start acting, everyone was like, what? Like, how are you going to make a living? What do you mean you're going to act? Like, what are you going to do for a real job? So I think it was a little bit surprising to everyone except for me that I actually pursued it. But I'm glad that I did, because now I'm in the middle of Bulgaria with people throwing rocks at me. What's
Well,
better than that?
that's right. That's a great experience. And what kind of roles in the future do you still want to play? I mean, you've been in on like a drama like Traffic. You've been on TV shows. You're now in sci-fi. What do you still want to do? Like rom-coms?
I would love to do some funny, like dark comedies. I really like. Let's see. I would love to do something along the lines of. I really like the indie, like Ryan Gosling movies, like Blue Valentine or Lars and the Real Girl. So kind of something along that vein, I think would be really fun next, and also very different because in sci-fi there's you have to really stick to the script. There's not a whole lot of room to play. So my next project, I would really love to be able to improvise and kind of just do something new every take. And so I think something like that would be really, really fun. I would love to work with Joe Swanberg. I really look up to him.
Well, yeah, Joe Swanberg. He's a very good director. Yes, absolutely.
Amazing. And he lets his cast riff. I heard that for Easy, he'll say, okay, well, this is, you guys know your characters. This is where I want the scene to go. Here's like the big lines, and then just see where it takes you. Like, I just think that would be so amazing, because sci-fi is just so the opposite of that.
Excellent. Well, let me start wrapping things up, because one of the most exciting thing is that we don't have to wait very long for season 2. It's coming on the CW on October 4th. So
October 4th.
give us a tidbit taste, because I know you can't give us spoilers, but what do audiences should expect?
They can expect fun. They can expect lots of adventure. It's very, very, very sexy this season. I'll say that. A lot of clothes tend to come off this season, I think. And also just the development of our characters and our character relationships. Like I told you earlier, I think the fans are going to be really happy with where Jax and her love life goes this season. But overall, just tune in if you want to just escape your world for a bit and go to space. Come join us in space. We'll be waiting.
Excellent. Well, I have one more important question to ask you, because when I was actually binging the show, because knowing that the show, it's called Pandora, and that you're seeking out a Pandora's box, why would you open that box knowing it's called Pandora's box?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, this really could have been avoided. I'm just throwing it out there. But you know what? Then there'd be no drama. And that's just, you just got to open it. It's like a horror film, right? Like, if you're being chased, do you A, run into the well-lit building, or B, into the woods where you can't see anything, and you're probably going to die that way? And of course you're going to go in the woods, because it makes for a better movie.
Excellent. And one quick thing, personal question for your fans who are curious: what is your heritage?
My mom is Mexican and Native American, and my dad is English, Irish, and German.
Well, there we go. Well, hey, Priscilla, hey, congratulations on the second season of Pandora. It looks like you're having a lot of fun over there, and I know the boys are waiting to continue the road trip with you. So, hey, thank you for.
Say bye to you as well, children.
Yes,
say bye.
Bye. Thank you very much. Hopefully we get to do this in person, okay?
Oh, I would love that. Yes, COVID, go away.
Post-COVID.
Over you, COVID.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye. Thank you.